What up, TikTok? Hey, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hey, don't let anything that's negative in your life dictate the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Hey, we all go through some hard times. We all go through some emotional stressors, maybe at work, maybe at home, whatever it may be. Don't let that dictate who you are and how you react to the rest of the things that life throws at you. Does that make sense? Like if you're feeling pissed off and angry all morning or all day, you're going to take that energy and you're going to present it to everybody else that surrounds you, your loved ones, your soldiers, whoever it may be. You're going to use that negative energy and it's just going to make everything worse. Try to be positive. Pick something positive in life that's going really well. Use that positive energy and let that dictate the rest of your day. We can harp on the negatives. We can harp on the bad things that are going on in life. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward. Stay strong, keep pushing, drive on. Happy Friday.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Hitting you up this morning with a special promo on how to dress when you're doing PT in civilians, but you want everybody to know you're an Army. This comes from the Buddy Beckwith fashion design of how to work out. So first, you can notice the RI panties. Not Ranger panties, but Ranger Instructor panties. The green socks, the knee brace for the old guys. Don't forget the M frames. Now the shirt, don't wear the Trash Talk shirt while you're running. This is just for the promo. You want to put on like an 80-second shirt or like your favorite airborne shirt so everybody knows that you're a veteran. That's the most important thing. And you start with this stretch. Buddy Beckwith taught me this one. Ready to go.
So, I'm walking out of the gas station and my co-worker, who's an old MP, but we still claim him, and he has engaged the man in conversation. Not much for conversation with strangers, but he's got the tab. So, as I walk by, I say airborne, and the man responds with, and I quote, "Hoorah." So, after I instructed my co-worker to slash every single tire before he put the car in gear, I looked for the biggest rock. As I crow hop to throw it through his back window so he can stop posing as one of us, I actually wake up and realize that the man's ignorance had incapacitated me for a moment, and I was daydreaming. I mean, because in that moment you got two options. I chose the third option and said, "Incorrect. That's an incorrect response." And I kept walking. The man said nothing and he pulled away. So you tell me, what is it, a stolen valor thing? No Marine's gonna have an airborne tab, and no paratrooper's gonna say hidden hoorah. So you tell me, stolen valor?
Hey, y'all, I'm going to work. I left you down on the refrigerator. I love y'all. I'm gonna go.
Hey, go get dressed. Get ready for school.
You're doing great. I was tooling along.
Shit! Bad guys! Stop!
Let me break it down Barney style.
Today's show is brought to you by the Farkas Group at the Veterans Mortgage Source. Are you looking for a team you can trust for your mortgage needs? The Farkas Group is our trusted partner on the podcast. I serve with Zach, and he will definitely give you the best rate possible. Their goal is to educate veterans across the country on their earned VA home loan benefit. If you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, reach out to these guys for competitive rates or any information you may need on obtaining a VA mortgage for your property. They are licensed in multiple states. If they are not licensed in the state that you live in, they will still give you the advice that you need and the rates you should be looking for.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, Joe, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
Meetings will continue till morale improves.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 81 of the Trash Talk Hour. Shout out to our sponsor,
One more
Zach
episode.
Farkas, with the Veterans Mortgage Source. You can check him out at Zach Farkas at vmsloans.com.
Show me the money.
10th Mountain Whiskey. Check them out at 10thwhiskey.com. Type in VTT and get a discount. Special guest
that
today
cordial.
is Ryan from Chummy Vet. And today I'm joined by Nick, Buddy, and Joe. Over to you, Joe.
Wow, you completely fucked that intro up, Dave, but that's okay.
Hey, can
Why?
we talk
Dave,
about
Dave,
the fact-
hey, yeah, can we talk about the fucking fact that we literally I wrote a script that I took hours to make, all right?
Yeah.
And I did it on my iPhone, and I was like, Dave, let's talk about a
Hours.
conspiracy theory. And Dave,
And I just talked to you about conspiracy theories.
Literally-
You're like, nah, let's not do it.
literally-
We can talk about conspiracy theories.
literally
Let's do
was
this.
supposed
Let's
to do that. But no, it's Joe's turn. You turned it over to Joe. I just wanted to say that you screwed up the
let's
script.
do this.
You
I'm
screwed
gonna-
up the script already.
I'm going to reverse it back to me.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
we want to
talk
start
about
something
it.
new, I guess. We're going to start talking about conspiracies. All right. So everybody that's watching,
Yeah.
we're gonna give about 5 minutes every episode, and we're gonna go around the horn and we'll get everybody's take on a certain conspiracy. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
And so today I picked Bigfoot. Okay. We're just gonna get everybody's take on Bigfoot. I personally don't believe in Bigfoot. Okay.
But he dated a Bigfoot.
If Bigfoot is real, then he needs to like teach Sears school because
You're not
he's
wrong.
like really good in
Yeah.
evasions.
You're not wrong.
Or he
was
watches
a-
too much CNN, or something like that because he is the biggest social distancing champ. So I don't think Bigfoot is real at all. What's your take on it, Nick?
He's 100% real. I don't know if I can assume Bigfoot's gender. He or she. We don't have
There's
this.
probably more than just a.
It's not your turn, buddy. Let Nick
Yeah,
go.
we don't have the science behind it yet, so we really can't trust the science yet. So, but if I was to trust the science on Bigfoot, obviously we have our descendants from larger primates, right? And we have lost our hair and we have become, a lot more sophisticated and educated. But there is definitely Bigfoot rolling around Washington area. I was watching the show hunting Bigfoot, and they actually play humpback whale noises to attract the Bigfoot. So nobody just comes up with that. That's real, right? Nobody just says, "Hey, play
Right.
humpback whale noises real loud," and then the Bigfoot will come. So I'm gonna double down 100%. Yes, buddy. What do you think?
First of all, Dave, you're right. I did date a Bigfoot.
That was
once.
me who said that. Jackwagon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of shots. I've had 2 shots already. And I'm still a little bit hungover.
One more, buddy.
Midget Bigfoot. She's very sturdy and a delightful person. Really
we
delightful.
actually have midget big feet.
I mean, why you got midget regular?
Is that what
Why
you would
you
call
got-
a flock of them?
First
Yes,
of all,
big
first
feet.
of all,
Big feet.
A flock? If there was
whoa,
a flock?
A
Can
flock.
we go back? Can we
Might be a
go
herd.
back? They're not midgets. They're little foot.
Little big
foot.
feet.
Little
Little
feet.
foots.
Yeah,
Little foots.
Okay.
Little.
I believe they're
medium
called little
feet.
squatches. Little
Buddy,
squatches.
get to the point. Do you believe he exists or not?
Anywho, yes. No, they don't. Well, yes, they exist, but they have a weird force field around them that makes your camera blurry every time you take a picture of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
so like the predator,
Done.
like the predator.
Yeah.
Predator's
Like a
real.
Predator,
Fantastic.
except for primate. There you go.
I mean, I
Bigfoot,
think he existed at
Bigfoot
some
fuck.
point, maybe, but not anymore. Like the fact that
Yeah.
we haven't found anything, like you said, it just, it doesn't make any sense.
People find stuff all the time. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
You know, my only question to you gentlemen is this: have we really searched every square inch of West Virginia? My
Right.
answer is no. He may be out there.
Yeah. So Joe believes in Bigfoot.
Okay.
He may be out there watching.
Hold on a second, Dave. Let
And
me
and
ask
all
you
of
a-
you
a
and all of
question.
you are in
you
trouble
ever
of
been
not
to
being
Sears
PC
School?
because they're called the Sasquatch. They're called the Squatch.
Well,
All right?
is
They don't like
Bigfoot is the
Bigfoot.
instructor of Sears School. That's what I
They
said.
identify,
earlier.
Exactly.
they identify as
Like,
the Sasquatch.
have you ever been
all right?
to Sears School and get slapped by one of those?
Yeah.
They are all Bigfoots.
Yeah.
They're like 8 foot
Yeah.
tall.
Bigfoot is a
and they're all
social
right-handed.
distancing champ and the evasion champ. That is all. He is not real.
Yep,
But
yep.
I believe he's somewhere in West Virginia that is so rural that the community doesn't even know that this man looks different.
And then they come out with the movie Wrong Turn to keep you from going to find Bigfoot. So they scare you.
No.
They scare you. So hey, our guest Ryan, does
good take
Bigfoot
on that,
exist?
Nick. Good take.
I don't think so.
Fine.
I don't think
You
so.
don't
No,
think so, huh?
no,
Wow.
Sasquatch.
Oh,
Nah,
Well, let's
this-
kick him off the show.
Thanks for playing along, Ryan.
I'll break it. Let me break the bandwagon. You know what I mean? No, it's like this was like a West Coast blue state phenomenon. It's not real.
No.
These were
It's time-
some hippies
it's
on
time to go.
shrooms. or something else. They thought they saw Bigfoot. It's
And
not
there's
real.
different
I'm sorry.
versions of them. So there's like,
It's time to censor
Yeah.
Ryan at this point because he's putting Bigfoot.
Cancel me. Cancel me.
He's,
Yeah,
he's
canceled.
off the
Aaron,
show.
Aaron on Gruntwork says, is there any evidence that he doesn't exist? All right.
Oh.
So, like, trust the science. Trust the science.
hey,
Yeah.
Brian on the chat. That is pretty funny. But Brian says the reason Bigfoot is so elusive is that it is a product of failed government experimentation,
There you go.
enhancing humans for warfare. But he says
That's what we are, dude. Buddy and I were
I
enhanced
like
to fight
it.
wars.
Good one,
Right?
Brian. Good one.
So-
I like that.
I like it.
All right. So I think we can go to Joe's soapbox now. He said he had
That's
a good
good.
one.
That's good.
Well, you know what? Mine's of course, I'm going to get a little more serious. This actually triggered me this week, Nick.
All right. Turn your
And,
serious faces on, everybody.
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, really serious faces. This one triggered me this week, and I called you on the day that I thought of it. And I didn't really mention anything about it.
I thought I made fun of it,
But-
but yeah.
It's
Call me
it's
on my
well,
cell phone. Huh? No.
So you just called him and then you didn't talk?
I think that's what
or
we-
like, I
he
called
just-
you when I thought
no,
about it.
no.
but
I
you
just
said
asked
it
him for the soapbox. I didn't tell him exactly what I was going to talk about, but it was something that triggered me, and I'll just say it happened to somebody near to my family that it kind of sparked the fact that we've pitched this message before, and it's such a big issue and it's such a problem that it's something that I don't feel is being addressed properly when it comes to a couple of different ways it's being handled. So I'm going to address the fact that we've all had the experience with it. And if you've been injured on active duty or you're an injured veteran, you've probably had an experience with opiate painkillers. All right. I know we've talked about this before, but this is something that affected someone near to my family. And it just kind of triggered the fact that it's still an issue.
I love heroin.
It's still an issue. It's just not something that gets talked about. If you walked away from it unscathed, then congratulations. But for the majority of people have had an issue with it or struggled with it, or it's affected them negatively in some way. Some people all the way to the depths of the fact that they don't know how to get off of it. So to those people, if there's anybody out there listening, you know somebody that's in the shit, and you're grown, you know when these pills got their hooks in you. I've been there. I knew it and I couldn't stop doing it. All right, because I'd gotten to the point where I was so worried about what happened if it left my system, would I even be able to function physically? And the fact of the matter is, quitting cold turkey was probably the hardest thing physically I've ever had to do. It's not something that's easy, but you have to look at what you want to be in 10 years. And if the man you're chasing is somewhere better than you are, that's not living. You're just existing when you're hooked on these things. And what my main problem is, and what sparked this topic with me this week, is the way people who have taken the route of medical marijuana are addressed. It still comes across as this stigma like, oh, well, you're a pothead because you use it. Well, I'm going to stay where it's legalized. All right. And I'm going to talk about it. I do use it. All right. I'm out. I don't have to answer anybody that's going to have a problem with it. So for them to say, well, you're a pothead, you're on this, you're on that, you're probably high, you're probably stoned. Well, what the fuck do you think I felt like when I was on that bag of Skittles walking out of the VA sounding like a Tic Tac vending machine? Did you think that was me sober? Because I'm here to tell you, it's not. It's not. You get to the point where it's like the red pill will help you sleep, but the green pill will help you with the nightmares. Then you take this and this. You have the side effect of this, and this, to the point where I don't even know who the fuck I am anymore because my chemicals are being regulated 6 ways from Sunday, and I can't feel feelings. And so that's the experiment they play when you have those pills. And I dumped out 6 medications for one joint size amount of medical marijuana a day, and sometimes that's more than I need. But if someone's going to sit there and tell me that you don't have the option to live pain-free if it's something that certain states deem illegal, even though legislation is totally disagreeing with it and opiates are being regulated at a blinding rate and marijuana is being legalized and stimulating state economies at a blinding rate, people are starting to understand the benefits of it. If you're going to tell me that I have to wear this stigma because I chose that over 6 pills that regulate me, then I don't really give a shit what your opinion is, to be perfectly honest with you. And you guys remember Montel Williams? A real popular talk show.
Yeah. He was a Marine,
him
wasn't
him and Sam Medina are still good friends, actually. Well, they're people. They still talk to each other. But anyways, he kind of inspired me when he came, because he's got lupus, which is extremely painful for anybody that knows anything about it. He's got it's like fibromyalgia or like rheumatoid arthritis. It just cripples the body. It's very painful. And this is when it wasn't PC to talk about weed. He came out and said, it affects my bowels. I can't sleep right. I sweat when I sleep. My face itches. It affects my sex drive, which means I have none, and my appetite. I smoke a joint and I feel okay again, and I can actually deal with life on life's terms. And you're going to tell me that that's not allowed? Well, I'm sorry. I'm doing it anyways. And I don't give a shit what your opinion is. And if you want to argue against what I have to say, I'm all ears. Replace it with a solution. You know, but if you're in that hole and you haven't found the answer yet and you're trying to dig yourself out, one thing that most veterans do, and if you need every trick in your kit bag to get out of a situation like that. And if you're doing that thing where when you screw up, you're like, fucking idiot, dude, you're smarter than that. Like, what's the matter with you? Or, you know, fucking stupid. Good job, idiot. Like, think about your support system in those moments. And if you talk to them like you talk to yourself when you screw up, you wouldn't have a whole lot of people around you. So I'm not saying rah-rah yourself, but man, if you got to tell yourself I'm the greatest 2,000 times over in your head to get the left foot moving in front of the right, then fucking do it. You know, but don't sit there and beat yourself up about what happened with opiates, because I guarantee you didn't really know what you were getting into when you got into it. So have the courage when you walk into the VA to know what works for you, and don't get on that roller coaster and sit there and think you're so fucking beyond dealing with because every single medication you've been on, nothing helps you. Well, maybe it is the medications that are hampering you, because I don't take pill one. And I smoke about that much weed a day, if that. So for the veterans out there, I'm telling you, there's answers. And if the answer is weed for you, don't be ashamed of it. Know that if that's the person that helps you be the person you want to be in 10 years, then do that, because opiate addiction is not living. It's just existing. All right. That's all I got, brother.
Hey, that's a good shirt, Joe. You should put that on a shirt on Adobe Spark. And then that'll be really, really good. I rarely say this, but you're spot on. Okay. And then I'll share my own personal story with that as well. Is I was able to get a pain management guy to get me off opioids while on active duty and put me on a prescription for Marinol, which is synthetic THC. Right. And he said the only problem with this is you'll be non-deployable. And I was like, but wait a minute, you mean I was deployable on Valium and oxycodons and all? I was deployable with that because I can get high and kill somebody real easily. Like, I know I'm doing it. When I'm on opioids, I can kill somebody and not know I'm doing it. Right. Because it's like, it's that crazy. Right. And same thing, bowel movements, everything. So, yeah, it's, again, the boomers are the ones that have a big problem with weed, and they're the ones that are in charge. So, like, because they were raised with the narrative that it was so bad for you.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's considered like a class, like a high class.
Class one drug. So
associated with heroin.
Associated with heroin and cocaine, you know? And
the
it's
same
like,
people that were told cigarettes were harmful.
We're good for you. Yeah. Like, yeah, go ahead and smoke a pack of Camels, and you'll be good. Like, what the fuck?
It's like for that argument, I say Western medicine was founded on the basis that you could use cocaine for almost anything. So just because it was legal doesn't fucking mean it was a good idea.
Well, right. And then, like, again, I'm saying, like, the boomers who are in charge, it's their bias in their head.
Yeah.
They literally, as soon as you say marijuana, it triggers a bias that they're not even listening to anymore. Like, they're not listening to what you're saying. And I get that argument on Facebook all the time where it's like, you're on this side of the bell curve or that side of the bell curve. I stop talking to you because it's not a discussion anymore.
It's the Calvin Johnson rule. We're going to change the rules to match our logic rather than to admit that we weren't logical.
Yeah, right. I guarantee you that, like, in the VA, there's a lot of doctors who would love to give you weed. It's also money. The pharmaceutical industries, they're not allowed to prescribe anything.
For sure.
Like, yeah, they are literally not allowed to.
I've debated a doctor on this, Dave, face to face. I've literally had a very, very, which debating intelligent people is actually rather peaceful because they have thoughts. They don't get mad.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to this guy, and he could not disagree with me, and that's all he kept saying is, I can't disagree with you, but you know,
But they're
what?
not allowed, man.
Say.
They have to
And that-
push a certain product or whatever, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, like all those doctors
So
that
he
got in
told me
trouble
I was
for
hot for
pushing
TH.
ivermectin.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to get into the COVID thing, but there were doctors that were literally, they got in trouble because they were pushing ivermectin and all this other stuff against COVID, and it's not what the norm is pushing or what the pharmaceutical.
Well, now what the FDA said is allowed, but
exactly.
I know the Dems hate this, but the old Don, right? The old Donald Trump signed an executive order to allow doctors to go outside of the FDA to treat COVID.
Yeah.
Right. So like it was tough shit for them. They're not going to lose their license. So they actually saved lives. But buddy, I know you're chomping at the bit to say something about this.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't
Is it
know.
is it the thing? Is it the only thing?
Yeah,
Or is,
well, I don't know that I've ever shared this on this show though. And it's a little personal.
He's coming out. He's coming
it's
out.
It's definitely right.
I
in the
knew
line.
it all these years.
We always
Joe
knew
was
this.
talking about.
buddy, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Those late night text messages when you're drunk explain
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
I've already
Let's
known.
do it. Let's free that burden.
So
Let it
anyway, my what you guys, what I had, like I said, I haven't really shared this with a lot of people. Anyway, my sister got into a car accident. Probably 8 years ago now. She got into a car accident. It was real bad. Broke her pelvis, broke her hip, broke her leg. Died a couple of times on the way to the hospital, but they saved her. And then they prescribed her oxycodone, everything under the sun. Well, they saved her that day, and she never lived another real day after that because she was addicted to all of those pills. And then she finally, when I was in the last day of SUT in the Q course, I got a call that they found her in her little apartment that she had at the time. And she had been dead for 3 days of an overdose from mixing opioids, oxycodone, Percocet, all of that stuff, and drinking. And what people don't understand, you look at somebody that does heroin. Everybody knows you do heroin, like fuck, dude. Like you're playing with heroin. That shit's bad. Don't do that. Don't even try it once, right? But if a fucking doctor tells you, hey, you need to take these pills, you take them for a month, and it's fucking heroin times fucking 20. Yep. You're addicted to this shit before you know it. I had a fucking one of my medics got run over by a car and was prescribed oxycodone for he's a medic, so he's like, fuck this, I'm only doing it for as long as I absolutely have to have pain management in order to breathe, because he'd broken his sternum and his ribs, and but that dude a month later came down off of that shit and was legitimately having a detox. And he knew what was going on, so he could fucking deal with it. But if you're just a regular fucking person that got prescribed oxys or Percocet or whatever, and you've been taking them for a month and you're physically addicted at this point, coming off of them is worse than you could die. You can legitimately,
your body goes into shock. Your body goes into shock.
Have you ever?
I was going down Chicken Road, fucking road raging with a guy, buddy, when I figured it out. What you're talking about. When it came to me, when I was like, holy shit, something's fucking, why am I so mad? I was coming to formation from Charlotte, and we were road raging down Chicken Road, ready to fight at fucking 5 a.m.
And the fact is, not having all of those fucking withdrawal symptoms is as easy as opening that fucking pill bottle that they keep giving you.
Yeah, just keep
it's
taking
a hard thing to not just keep
read just read the fucking labels in there.
Yeah, and
it's fucking insane.
Yeah,
like, they gave me sleep meds. They gave me sleep meds because I have issues in Luke Air Force Base. Was like, here, take this shit. And I talked to Doc Esther. I talked to Doc Esther about it. Like, hey, are these good? And they're like, no, bro. Like suicidal tendencies, like it's gonna increase everything. And then I look at the labels and it's like suicidal tendencies may cause aggression, blah 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 blah. And it's like, why the fuck am I taking this shit? So I just stopped and deal with issues. But
is that people don't understand, and the doctors don't understand, it's not just the patient, it's their family. We went through 5 years of, like, every time I went home, I got to the point that I absolutely fucking hated my sister. Hated her. She was living with my parents at one point at fucking 38, 39 years old. She couldn't take care of herself. My parents were taking care of her kids. Every time I went there, she would fucking like, wait, let's have dinner, and she's falling asleep in her fucking plate because she's high as giraffe pussy. Like, it's not just one person that's affected by it; it's an entire group.
Everybody.
And to be honest,
the family
it's an
gets
entire
it worse.
generation. Well, yeah, like her 2 sons, both of them are in jail. Her youngest daughter is the only one of those of that family that's doing okay. It's an entire generation that it fucks because you're taking away their parents. And you know, and like I said, if you're doing heroin, if you go out one night and somebody's like, "Yo, man, want to do this heroin?" You're like, "Are you insane?
Let's go shoot
you know
up."
What I mean? Yeah, like, are you fucking crazy? No, we're just gonna stick it right in our jugular. It's fine. Like but
I do it between my toes so nobody can see it.
If your doctor,
That's a giraffe pussy.
You, it's like you're getting addicted to something.
What he
like
got
the dealer's getting you addicted, and he's got a certificate telling you that it's okay, that you'll be fine. You're not going to be fine.
It's brutal.
Like, take that shit for as little time as you can and get the fuck off of it as quick as you can.
Yeah, it changes you as a person. Yeah. And I'll end it with this one. But my cousin, I know.
Oh, you get the last word?
No. I mean, I want.
That's okay.
Go
ahead. End it. Yeah.
It changes you as a person. Like my cousin, he's about 10 years younger. Had so much potential. He got on heroin, and overdosed, like 10 years ago. And it's like, this kid had so much potential, but when he was on that shit, he was a completely different person. It's sad, man. So I know what you went through, buddy. Like, my mom was trying to help this kid out. My grandparents. Yeah. It's just hard. It's sad, man.
It took me years after she died to come to kind of come to terms with the fact that the person that she was on those pills was not
exactly.
My sister died in that car wreck.
Yeah,
the person that was after that, the person after that wasn't her. And there's no reason for you to be mad at that person because she's not who she was. It's a completely different person. Yeah.
I almost blocked somebody off. Huge, man. I almost blocked somebody off of our group VTT official because Kevin got on her a little bit, and then she tried to argue back, and she went full triggered pansy mode, where she was like, people choose to live in that misery, and it was almost like, we're not cancel culture, so I'm not going to cancel you. Yes, we always say this on the show, that it is your responsibility to get the demon out, but you 100% of the time need someone to support you. All right, you need someone to support you after you put that demon out there. Otherwise, that demon's coming right back in. Yeah. And if you surround yourself with the people who support that demon, then it is going to come back even faster.
Yeah.
All right.
So Joe could probably answer this more than anybody, but at some point it seems like you have to have a moment of sobriety where you realize this shit ain't good. I've got to fucking fix it. Then you got to find somebody that can help.
Hopefully you make it to that point.
Hopefully you make it there. And we've had quite a few on our show that hit rock bottom. That really, that was the trigger. Like, I'm living on the streets. I literally have nothing, a t-shirt and the pants that I'm wearing. And then it like clicks. But sadly, like Nick said, hopefully you get to that point, because a lot of people don't.
And sadly, with another disclaimer, we're sponsored by 10th Mountain Bourbon. And it's like, but if alcohol makes you do dumb shit,
then don't type in VTT and get a discount. Just don't even go there.
Don't even go there. Like, don't do it.
I won't have it. I will not have a drink with you then.
Yeah.
But what Buddy says, it's funny because I absolutely did. And how's being married and having your wife down in North Carolina for 2 weeks, and all she ever knew was her whole family in Michigan. And you go to court to get a case continued because you've been able to sweet talk the judge with your lawyer for 6 months. So you might as well be able to get another 6 months. And they say, hey, sentence starts now.
Yeah.
They slap fucking handcuffs on you. And all you're thinking of is, today was my son's first day of school. My wife is still sleeping. Her car's out on the fucking main street right now. And I'm going to a fucking jail cell. Okay. I had opiates in my system at that moment. I'm not going to lie. And I went through that shit cold turkey in county fucking jail. And I tell you what, I'll never forget the experience. I'll never forget the experience, because all I could think of in that moment, this is where it gets very important, is I felt lower than low. You couldn't have paid me to call one of you guys. That's how bad I felt about where I put myself.
I didn't know you were fucking locked up.
How little of a man I felt. Well, I did 15 fucking months.
I know.
and my kids don't get that time back. And I tell you, man, it is very easy. And the reason why I say that is not to soften people up, man, but it is very easy.
Yeah. On the chat thread,
to keep yourself there without anybody else's help, just by going over. I used to be running and gunning with Dave and Nick. Now I'm here next to these fucking scumbags. What have I fucking done to myself? Yeah, man, that was a moment for me right then and there. And I will tell you this, since the day I got out, we had Georgie, we moved back to Michigan, we started this company. I'm in contact with you guys every day. I can't even remember how I felt that day because of where my life's at now. So you have the ability to move forward. And if you tell yourself every single day you fucking didn't make it because you didn't hit the finish line, dude, you're never going to get there. Just celebrate the fact that you did what you could with that 24 hours.
Right. And Vic Thorne on the chat throw the Gruntworks, and I'll give him the time of day because he's got a red beret on in his picture. All right. He was saying that, hey, just so you guys know, we have a very effective military support charities I'm involved with. Yeah, Vic, you must be your first time watching. All right. That's what we are. Okay.
That's
and we appreciate that. So come to Veteran Trash Talk, join up on our team, because like I always tell people, you don't have to say a word in our group or our professional page ever. All right. Never. But there's going to be one time where somebody makes a post about something and you're going to have that answer. All right. You're going to be the one. And the bigger our community gets, the better chance that issue or that support channel can act very quickly. Right. And we've seen it happen. We've seen our page come alive and help people immediately. Right. And of course, we don't censor people as long as you're not sexual or political, or like as far as on the page, we don't censor people. And again, we want the wrong opinion sometimes because maybe the wrong opinion has some truth in it. All right. And then maybe we can build off of that. But all right. So we hit the half-hour mark, which Ryan is sitting here wondering, what am I doing? What am I doing here?
Did I get into?
Right. So again, our mission is to curb the veteran suicide rate to below the national level at a minimum. Right. We don't say let's get rid of veteran suicide because it's kind of it's almost an impossible goal.
It's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. Could it happen? Sure. But our goal is to drop it down. Right. And we do the financial classes with Zach Farkas because that's one issue. Everybody thinks they have the one issue that causes suicide. All right. There's thousands of them. All right. PTSD isn't a one thing term like Dr. Gade says. Right. Like, it's like it encompasses so many other things. So if we can help you out, remember, you're not the only one in this community. You might have the answer or need the help in this area. And if this message isn't for you today, then just stick around because that message is coming for you. All right. One of these days it's going to be for you. So then we realize that, okay, now we got a huge platform. And what can we do with it? All right, well, let's promote veteran-owned businesses. All right, let's do that because jobs help. All right. Supporting the veteran community helps. If Ryan here wants to hire some veterans, great. All right. And then the nonprofits that we promote on here, some of them get some pretty big paychecks after people watch this show.
Yep.
Right. And like I said, some of those nonprofits have made more money than we did, and we don't care.
Facts.
Okay. So it's like
get every dollar you can.
But right ever. So watch our previous episodes for nonprofits, and then now you can actually watch the person who created it. So if you're trying to trust and verify of who you want to give money to, they come on the show and they talk to us. And then we'll also tell you whether or not we believe in it or not. Because there have been guests that have come on and we're like, that guy's kind of sketchy. Right. But I don't think Ryan's that guy. Okay. So
about to find out.
About to find out though. Ryan's a West Point officer.
Oh, snap.
All right,
not anymore.
Well,
you're always all right.
No, don't
Here we go.
Oh man,
let me sit up straight.
Otherwise known as a ring knocker. All right. So if you don't know this, we have Ring Knocker Radio. We promote their show for football picks. So you got old Colonel Robinson on there talking about football like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't. All right. But he's a West Point guy, so he thinks he knows. All right. Now, as I talked to Ryan, we've been talking for about a month and a half now and trying to get things squared away for the show. And he let me in on something. All right. And remember, in the Ranger world, Ryan, you only need about 10% truth. Okay. So he was talking to me about how he was at Fob Loyalty and he was in charge of the swimming pool, right? He was the you know, he was the OIC of the swimming pool. And as he was testing he was supervising. Actually, he was ordering the supervisor to supervise the private testing the pH level of the pool. Right. And as he was doing this, he had a premonition. And he's like, you know what I want to do? He's like, I want to get out. I'm going to get out and I'm going to do something no other veteran has done before.
How am I going to make a living?
I'm going to sell shirts.
Oh,
okay. And he's like, absolutely brilliant idea. We've never heard of it before.
Extremely original.
We have
extremely original.
We have never. We don't sell anything, right? None of this is sold, right? Because we didn't want to steal Ryan's idea. Okay.
Big deal.
Gruntworksclothing.com. We don't know what that is. All right. So like shop.veterantrashtalk.com. We don't know what that is either, right? This all came off of Ryan's ideas. To sell apparel.
This is not a shirt.
That's actually a real idea.
I don't think anybody's come up with this idea here.
No, that is ours. But yeah, so Ryan, welcome to the Trash Talk Hour. Welcome to the Dumpster Fire. Tell us a little bit about your service, what you got going on, because I know you got a store and you got a nonprofit. So give us it all. Get it all right now.
Yeah. No, that was a long lead in. That's what she said, the girl. No,
I'm not allowed to talk like that anymore.
No, I appreciate it. And honestly, I know, I've started listening to you guys probably the last dozen episodes or so. And I think I'm kind of a fanboy at this point. I don't know. But in all honesty, and I mean this sincerely to kind of dovetail off some of the more serious
I used to watch that
talk.
cartoon.
I know you kind of let in with, he went to Hudson High and he's, this guy. But I've always, and I sincerely mean this, I think you guys are onto something. And I have always bounced off ideas off the non-commissioned officer whenever, and I've never really been led astray. But I have been embarrassed at times, but that's okay.
As you should.
But yeah, so
soldiers.
yeah. So I don't know. I got a Fob Loyalty story. I don't know if you wanted to hear that.
The floor is yours, Ryan. You get to
yeah. So once upon a time, and this goes back to when I actually didn't listen to an NCO. If you remember, Fob Loyalty was a little bit of a mortar and rocket magnet for a while there, at least when we were there, right? And we got extended for 15 months, and I was an MI company XO at the time, right? So, and you know how these connexes just got to get packed and repacked constantly. And as a young lieutenant, that was kind of my job, is just like unpack the connex, get it repacked, just take inventory or whatever. So one morning I get a couple of the platoons together, and it's like 5 a.m. and one of the NCOs comes up to me, one of my guys, good dude from West Virginia, and he's like, hey sir, the mortar that's pretty high right now. We shouldn't reorganize the connex right now. And I'm thinking, we've been extended. We got to get this connex put together. Let's wait till 5:15, right, when the mortar window, the threat window is now down, right? And he said, I don't think that's a good idea. And, I looked at this guy and I thought maybe he just wants to sleep in, I don't know.
Lazy.
But yeah, exactly. So sure
he
enough.
knows what the fuck is going on.
Don't you West Point officers get off that we're shifty preachers that you never trust?
Did you hit him with allow me to retort? Beat your face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, pretty much. And I was like, hey, I hear you, but, let's get this thing packed up.
Orders are orders.
We're going home. If you haven't been hit by a mortar yet, it ain't going to happen, right?
We trained
kind of what I was thinking.
Sound logic there, sir.
Yeah, sound logic. So
we haven't been
sound logic. It 100% of the time, it's true until it's not.
Yeah. Well, on this particular day, it was not. So anyway, I get everyone out there. And, I got my clipboard, green book, just doing my thing, right?
Just off.
And sure enough, the damn CRAM goes off. and these mortars come in from Solder City, and, a couple are inaccurate. But then one hit the lip of the building. We were right below, as we're all booking it inside and everything else. So, and the funny thing is, this guy never said anything to me. He just looked at me, and, his face said everything. And, I was like, okay,
he definitely said something to you.
He said saying many things.
Yeah. His face said, thanks for almost getting us killed over a freaking Connex,
You were wearing several hats and had half a dozen names in his head.
It was silly, man. Silly. But
that look on his face.
And after that, you got super scared, said, I'm getting out and I'm going to make t-shirts.
Dave did the same shit. Dave got shot in the ear and he got real scared and became a recruiter. Right?
I deployed again afterwards.
He just never was himself again.
No, so I'm originally from South Dakota. I grew up an Army brat, and I spent 10 years on active duty as an intel guy. And my dad was in the Army. My two sisters were Army nurses, and my brother was a Black Hawk pilot. So this whole global war on terror sort of affected my family at different times, and reunions and all that type of stuff. We could kind of see what each other were going through, right? So at different times. So there's always this dialogue about who's deployed when and all these different things. Just going on from a family perspective and in our circle of friends. So I decided to get out to join my wife, who was in the Air Force, right? So we spent the last couple years of my time on active duty apart, right? So she was in Korea, I was in Afghanistan, and I decided to get out, right? So I get out, come here to Military City, USA, and San Antonio, Texas, and I live right here near Bernie. It's a great spot, but there's always sort of this dialogue going on with veterans around me, right? So when COVID hit, and there was sort of this lockdown that was going on, I was permanent work from home. I have a back injury, so I have to stand a lot of the time. So I was out in my garage at my standing desk, and I had a whiteboard there. And, I sort of started doodling, right, about different deployment sayings and all this different stuff that's just kind of ruminating and cycling in my head anyway about, my time on active duty or my experience with the GWAT, right? And I thought, hey, I want to make this more of a funny engagement between veterans, right? I didn't really understand when I would see World War II or Korea guys or even Vietnam guys, they would wear, the garb, right? The hats that says, hey, Vietnam vet or whatever. And I think you realize, and maybe you guys have come to this conclusion too, it's that's kind of for other veterans, right? Yes, it's for the community to some degree, or society in general, but it's kind of how we veterans recognize each other out in the wild, right? So I just wanted to add comedy to that. I just think comedy, and as evidenced by your podcast, right? It's a more natural way for veterans to engage. And so I just thought, hey, and as Nick said, it's I know I'm not the first mover in the space by any means, but I think there's plenty of room to grow. It's really not that hard to come up with designs and put it out there. And I certainly learned a lot in the process. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said right.
Yeah.
I was agree with you.
Yeah, man. So I have a good friend of mine. I actually went on his podcast. He's a great guy. First Sergeant retired, and his name is Chris Noel. He has a podcast called Heart of a Volunteer Veterans Podcast, and he does one-on-ones, right, where he talks to you just about stuff you've been through, whether it's on the mental health front or chronic pain, whatever. And during that conversation, we had this awkward exchange, right? It's what's your story, right? When someone comes up to you and how do you begin building community, right? And I was like, I just crack a joke, that's how I'm wired, and so many veterans I think are wired like that way. So so I thought, hey, I'm gonna put a spin on this, and when I wear things like GWAT glow, it's because I think everyone that's experienced the global war on terror has this gift of perspective. I really believe that, right? We come down, Maslow's hierarchy down to the basement, right? And when you come back from deployments or anything else, you look at society and go, you guys are the ones that's fucked up, not me. I think there's actually a little bit of truth to that, right?
100% there is.
Yeah, because these first world problems are exactly that. Now, what I think the veteran then goes through is that when you come out of that, right, and you start living in the first world again, you're surprised that it's challenging for you, right? So for me, with this veteran apparel brand, one of the unforeseen sort of good consequences from it has been I've been able to write, So if you go on my website and you're checking out the apparel,
what's the website? What's the link? Plug the link.
Yeah, chummyvet.com. So chummy, CHUMMY.
Yeah, we don't spell chummy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So you go there, but then I have this section on there called Ordinarily Extraordinary Veterans. And what had happened, which is kind of a fun reality of this whole thing, is that veterans start reaching out to me because of this platform, because even though it's a digital storefront, it's a good opportunity to engage with other veterans. And they're giving me t-shirt ideas and they're telling me their stories, unsolicited, right? That's how it started. And then I start writing, right? So I start writing how soldiers talk. That's how I would describe someone's service, right? So it's a little bit of pride inducing for folks, for someone else to explain their service. But it's not this somber Memorial Day. It's like, no, let's say it how veterans would talk about it, like, hey, you're from West Virginia. Are you a Hatfield or McCoy? Like there's a banter that goes with it that I find rather inspiring, frankly, because just like your podcast, right? Like you speak truth to power, but you deliver it in, it's like when a soldier breaks up with someone, right? With a girl, right? Hopefully, maybe a girl. I don't know. So
we don't assume anything.
But in the barracks, right? Like if that girl was not a good person, someone's going to come in off the top rope and tell that individual, like, hey, bro, she was da 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 da. They're gonna use colorful language. They're gonna give it to you straight, right?
He was a fucking stripper, dude. What are you talking about? What are you what's gonna happen, idiot?
But I'll be honest. What I've realized in this whole like journey or whatever you want to call it is that I missed that. That was the element of it's dialogue. It's banter with good people that have been to some tough places in life, right? And they're constantly learning and evolving. And that's what Chummy Vet is. Like, I'll be honest. And I know that's, and I don't have, sole propriety on that. Like you guys are doing it. You're doing it in a very constructive way. And this just needs to continue and it needs to grow legs. And this is how, in my opinion, we're going to get through, together, as a community, a lot of these challenges that we're having in the mental health space. So if I'm wearing a silly t-shirt, I like to say, like, I'm an ambassador. Like, you can talk to me and, like, even if you're a total stranger, we're going to have a laugh. It's not a big deal, right? If I'm wearing a Ramadi hot yoga shirt and I got a guy spread eagle on there, the full package, whatever, like, I want to have a light conversation with you. We don't have to get heavy. Maybe heavy will come later. And you don't need to be like, thank you for your service type thing and all that kind of stuff. Like,
you got to thank Buddy for a service or he'll get a
yeah. I mean, maybe that'll come,
I would like to say that you haven't thanked any of us for a service.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, well, let me do that. Yeah.
You're an officer. You're supposed to tell us you love us, and if without us, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
And you know what? I just totally did the officer thing, and I got on my soapbox. But I'm sorry. I don't know. I kind of let it just fly there.
I love the concept, Ryan, and maybe I missed it at the beginning. How long have you been in the business? And then I know you do hoodies. I know you do hoodies. You do shirts. What is your most sold item?
Yeah, so a lot of the Northeast Afghanistan themed stuff is what's selling awesome, the most.
I checked them out.
Yeah, I got to cut you off before you answer that, Ryan. To do all the West Pointers some credit and to do what they all just said. They all just said this when you started that sentence with "so." All right, every West Pointer was like, "He's not a West Pointer." Okay, so
really.
We're educated. We don't start the sentence with "so."
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I forgot. You guys are in school, right?
I'm at the Yale to Southwest, and Buddy's Harvard to the Southeast.
Nick and Buddy are both doctors.
I am Harvard to the Southeast,
and I'm Yale to Southwest. No big deal.
Yeah. I've heard of it. UTEP, right? Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. We're just over here doing what NCOs do, set the table for you.
Yeah.
No big. I love it. I love it.
Medal. Let's go. Get your medal. No, sorry. Go ahead. Answer the question without "so."
Well,
is that where the taxpayers' dollars are going?
Look, I'm discombobulated. I don't know if you know that this is
my full tilt. He's on full tilt right now.
This is my domestic conspiracy that's going on. I don't know if you can tell, man. I was up like late last night. I'm all discombobulated. I'm moving. I'm in the process of moving right now, man.
More excuses.
I got my Buffalo mount taken down. Like it's it's just a sad time.
Nobody from Austin P would have started a sentence out like that.
Meanwhile,
just
off
saying.
camera at Buddy's place,
eventually we're going to answer my fucking question.
There's not some enlisted guy here to move my stuff for me. I don't know how. to lift with.
You're just standing with a clipboard.
They keep telling me to lift with my legs. I don't even know what that means. I
love it.
usually lift with my finger. Like I point at it and then they lift it. I don't get it. I don't know how to work it.
He's
We're
talking
just,
about,
we're just jealous you're an officer. That's all. But sorry, answer Dave's question before he starts yelling at us in German.
Wait, what was the question? I forgot. The burning dumpster.
What is your best selling item?
Like Kunar Yodeling Club is one. So I don't pay for ads, right?
For men.
So a lot of my like whatever social media connections are kind of how I get the organic sales. So I don't know. Were you guys up there? Were you in Kunar at all in the Hindu Kush?
I didn't. No, I was in Ghazni.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Oh, in Ghazni. Okay.
Where the real war was.
I've got it.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, but it was a fun place, and I like the Hindu Kush, right? That's been another seller, right? So like anything with Hindu Kush, right? So yeah, there's a dynamic, right? A lot of society looks at that and they're like, oh, smoking the ganja or whatever.
Anything with Kush, period.
Which hey, you do you. I don't have any issue with it, but yeah, no, it's like Hindu Kush mountains, like. A lot of Americans, put the wood to the enemy up there, let's put it on a t-shirt, there's all these surf shirts out there and all this other kind of stuff. Like I'm going to take those themes and try to integrate them into deployment locations that people were at. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, like there's been some unforeseen consequences. Like when I wear the Kunar yodeling shirt, right? Like I've actually had yodelers, like real yodelers. I didn't know this was a thing. Beautiful. I was kind of making fun of yodelers, but
you probably make so much money now. You're in areas that have yodelers.
No, yeah. not enough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That little kid from Walmart walked up.
Costco.
What is it?
Some
dude. Yeah, they got yodelers there.
No, this guy comes into Costco. I'm in Costco. I'm trying to buy Worcester sauce. Yeah, big time.
It's a status thing.
Yeah. I know you like the foot-long hot dogs there. I know you do.
Work there to get
Nick does.
Images everything.
It's better.
But this guy who's an actual yodeler comes and he's shaking me down. He's like, "Oh, do you yodel?" He's all excited and he wants to banter back and forth with me. I'm like, "No, I'm not a yodeler. I'm kind of making fun of yodelers in a way." I didn't know they were.
You almost got the shit kicked out of you by a yodeler.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you with this fucking taser if you don't get out of the
Or like,
you almost had a yodel fight.
I did.
Johan.
Oh my god, that would you should have just busted out like a yodel lady.
I should have. Yeah, right there.
Before I get even more off topic, remember go to chummyvet.com and go support Ryan's company. Funny stuff. And to stay on the topic for a second, we always say that we try to design shirts to create conversation. Right. And so when you're wearing it out in public, somebody actually asks you about it and then you talk about it, have a little conversation. So that's perfect that you said that.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan, did you go to Ranger School?
I did not. No.
Okay,
I did not. There's a story, but
gone now. Buddy's out. Well, we know. Because officers get bred to go. I was going to ask, I thought you would say yes, because you seem like the guy that would have passed with the beard and everything. But
yeah.
So the beard's just I want to look like I was.
No, I had
He was at mine.
Yeah, I was. So here's the story. No, that's right. No, he's right. So I had when I was at West Point, I had 3 shoulder surgeries. No, seriously, I had 3 shoulder surgeries, and they actually told me, the doc told me, he's like, we're not going to commission you if you tell me you're going combat arms. So that was my choice. Like after 4 years, I could have just walked. I could have been like, I'm out. Okay, take the degree, go do whatever.
So you followed politics. So, you sold out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, big time. And then when I got to Huachuca, we started the Ranger train up, and I was going to do it. And throwing a football, I threw my shoulder out of socket.
Do your parents know the genetics that they gave you?
Do they feel guilty?
Yeah, do the parents feel guilty he's freezing up right now. We've actually talked so much trash. You guys
hear him? We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Ryan. I think your mic went out. You probably You should probably bring your wife back in who knows how to do it to turn it back on.
There we go. There we go.
There he goes. There he goes.
Okay.
There he goes.
Yeah, it was unstable.
Yeah,
Unstable
yeah,
connection.
yeah, just like your shoulder.
Loosey goosey.
Do your parents apologize for the genetics they gave you to be a true West Point officer?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
We should bring them.
And
up. Are they still alive?
Does winning Odin lookalike contests pay the bills when your shoulder is out?
What's that? It broke up. It broke up.
Like, did you sustain your funds while the shoulder was out with winning Odin lookalike contest?
I did not. No, the beard is a new thing.
That's just a question I got on the thread.
I'm moving to Minnesota. I'm leaving the hill country. By the end of the month, I'll be a Minnesota resident, if you can believe that. And I just thought, I thought that's what we did.
Hey,
why don't you move to Wisconsin?
You don't have to apologize for the fact that you wear the standard I used to be in the Army outfit of a t-shirt, a beard, and you would joke.
What's wrong with this?
You would joke.
What's wrong with this?
Grow that good hair. But
No, you're a screaming veteran right now. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
I want to look like Joaquin Phoenix by the time it's all done. Yeah.
I think Odin's better than Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
The old timers wear the black cap with the yellow print. We wear this. This is our uniform.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, Ryan, did anybody in your family go to Ranger School?
No, actually, no. Nope.
No. Oh, damn.
No, wasn't. No, my sisters. No, my sisters were nurses, and then my brother was aviation. So
don't worry, Dave didn't go.
Ryan,
Dave didn't
don't
go
worry. Nobody in Nick's family went to West Point either. So
nobody in Nick's family went in the Army either. So
yeah.
I am a first-term failure. Okay, so I was the first one to fail at like
You're
that.
a fucking reject.
Yeah. Everybody else went to college and shit.
So Ryan, for your store and everybody that's watching, is it just online or do you have any of your
being professional?
Yeah, it's just online. We'll see when I get up to the North Country. I may start a little storefront or at least go to some expos and do some stuff like that. But
okay.
It's funny, man. Like I'm kind of getting more into the writing. You know what I mean? Like I actually I enjoy that, and I like the funny T-shirt stuff too. And I'll keep doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so just interviewing, really sort of interviewing these guys that their GWOT experiences, right? So like there's a guy on there, and this was sort of cathartic and a breakthrough. He's from Iowa,
what does cathartic mean?
Yeah, I'll break it down. I know.
Yeah.
Something about
So this guy
wasn't expecting that. Catholic?
No, this dude, he's not. No. Jesus. Now my buddy.
Now we're
oh God.
Now we got really going on.
Yeah. So No, there's this good dude that reached out to me. We connected, right?
That's cathartic.
And usually, these are like a couple page things, right? So like I've had, truly the privilege, right? Like I'm not even BSing. Like I've gotten to talk to a Vietnam POW, right?
Nice.
Two or three phone calls back and forth, and like you hang up the phone from those experiences, and you're like, man, like this isn't the Hollywood version of what that was like, and you glean sort of these nuggets of how these guys dealt with their experiences after the fact, right? And there's sort of these after war stories that never get told. It's like the hard stuff people go through, whether it's chronic pain or mental health issues or the family's breaking up, whatever. Like all this stuff sort of hits these folks at different times in their lives, and they deal with it, right? Well, one of my good buddies, he lives in Iowa, and his name is Clay Jensen. And but I ended up writing. It probably takes 40 minutes to read, but it's the story of this guy's experience in the global war on terror, like going after. He was a SAD guy. He's an 82nd guy. So of course, get. You guys
does it have pictures? Does it have pictures? We got a lot of Marines watching.
Yeah. There's pictures from like his childhood, his experience overseas, his experience in Colombia, like just all these mission sets that like, I would love to be the guy that I know enough about, even though I was in a decade, right? But I know enough of the lingo to kind of tell it the way other veterans can appreciate it without glossing over it or having these just glaring mistakes that sort of Hollywood or other writers put out there. So, yeah, you know, I want to do more of that.
You hear that, Sam?
Yeah.
Sam Medina. You hear that, Sam Medina? You might want to get Ryan on the payroll.
Yeah. So I enjoy it, you know, and that's, you know, like I said, like it's a platform, and you guys know, right? Like from a podcast, you can get into these discussions with other people and you get these lessons learned. And then they're like, shoot, we should write this down. Right. You know, all of life is a big AAR. Right. So I want to do that. And I want to tell more veteran stories. And I'm actually interviewing a guy right now, Major retired Seth Neiman, who's an amputee, Green Beret, you know, like, and again, it's not just, the focus isn't just, you know, the blast or the combat or the deployments. It's the like, hey, how do I deal with things with my family? How do I, you know, what modalities of treatment do I go through, you know, that have worked for me? And that to me is the fun, interesting stuff. And I don't think enough people have told that story. You know, so anyway, I think writing is in my future at some point with that. I
love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
A good. I wanted to plug it because your story is reminding me of a couple guests that we've had on the show, and I want to plug them again. But we had Win Anderson. He was an 11 Bravo and 10th Mountain, and then he became a Chinook pilot, and he wrote the book Wombat. And when I read that book, it was exactly like you're saying. It was in the jargon of E6 in the infantry, and it was a phenomenal read. And again, people need to understand what that means, like the way he's talking and how funny it actually is, and to bring that to light. So definitely that. And then you've obviously heard of the 20-Year War, right? With Dan Blakely and those guys. Yeah. We know we had them on the show, and another phenomenal thing where they, of course, they had like Tim Kennedy and a couple other guys that they did, but they also found about, 15 other guys that were just the average Joe. Right? Yeah. And they were going through all this stuff. But yeah, so what would be like, what would you say is the driving factor behind that to write and express these? Is it just to make people aware, or is it also a self-therapy?
I think it's both. I think, and I tell, veterans or people that have reached out to me, I tell them, be selfish in what you need, right? And what I mean by that is, like I was saying, I miss that dialogue being around, the energy of soldiers is youthful. It's like, the majority of what soldiers are, under 23, under 24 years of age. There's a lot of energy in those conversations. I miss that, right? Like, and I, as I get older and, time, like, after I got out of the service, I felt like, you ride I call it the GWAT train, it's like in and out of deployments, you're constantly reintegrating with your family, and then you're training up to leave again. And, I think that affects anyone physiologically. And then it's over, right? But it's not really over because it's playing in the back of your, your gray matter, right? It's kind of ruminating. Well, how do you stop the rumination and do something productive? And I know I'm not exactly answering your questions, but one piece of advice I do give to people, one piece of advice I really do give to people, and I think I've heard you guys say it too, is like, you can turn that into something productive, right? You don't have to necessarily live there. And I'll be honest, there's times like even when I'm writing or interacting with a veteran, like I have to take a break. Like it's heavy, and it's like, okay, I need to get my mind on something else, right? But if you
contagious, that energy.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a great word for it. Contagious, right? Like, when you're around other people, right? And I tell people too, like, just if you have an idea where, this is America, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? So like, people have given me advice, like on the apparel, they're like, oh, you should make this more mainstream so other people can identify with it. I'm like, that's not my goal. My goal is to make this identifiable to a niche of veterans, right? Like, I'm not trying to, promote this, across the board and scale this. And I mean, I am to an extent, but I'm not trying to be mainstream in what I'm doing. I can be niche. I can still be a success doing that. But I do tell veterans, like, whatever it is you want to do that's constructive, just go do it. Just go start, right? Hey, whether it's a podcast, a business, a nonprofit, if you just get out there and start doing it, you're going to rub elbows. And pretty soon that community, that dialogue of soldiers I was talking about, that's going to be back in your life, right? And once that's there, you'd be amazed at how these what seem like monumental hurdles are really not that hard, right? Like, between Google, YouTube, and some mentors, you can figure out a lot of stuff. Like I didn't know I was gonna, hawk T-shirts online. That wasn't like this major dream I had, right?
We didn't know we were doing a podcast till like 5 episodes ago.
Yeah. We had no idea we had a podcast.
But it's I think just starting, right? You don't have to have a perfect business plan or anything else. Like you just start. Yeah. Shoot it across and see where it takes you. And you're gonna get bumped different directions, and that's okay. It's called learning, and I've failed a lot. Like I've put out stuff that just doesn't sell, or I waste time, on things. But it's like, if I never took that, those opportunities, I would have never learned. So, So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. But
no, you're good. You're good.
Good shit, Ryan.
That's what we gave you the soapbox for. And again, so anybody listening and watching, again, be a part of our community. You'll never know when you will be needed. That's the idea. Look at the funny memes that we share. Dave shares them all. Joe started doing it. You go to Joe's page. Buddy doesn't have a page yet because he doesn't know how to do it.
He's working on it right now. He's looking at his computer screen.
Look at the list.
Yeah,
buddy, it's been on there for a year now.
He's got a whiteboard.
I erased the whiteboard.
The only reason he has a whiteboard is from when he went to selection, and that's where they wrote the rules down for what he had to do for the day. And so
different when I went, they had a TV.
Oh, they had a TV. Oh, nice. That's right. You went after me.
He does have Tinder correspondence.
But hey, Ryan, you definitely need to interview Buddy because he's got 6 combat stars. He's fought every war since World War II. Yeah, he's been in for that long.
Vietnam, Nick. Don't exaggerate, okay?
Vietnam. Korea. Let's go Korea.
He's a staff sergeant in Vietnam.
Korea.
Let me tell you about that time I went to Panama.
Yeah, he's a tremendous soldier, and I'm not really jealous of him. A little bit, but not really.
He's a stud. He's a stud. Well, not anymore. You kind of look at him right now, but like he used to.
I'm right here. I can fucking hear you, nerd.
Yeah. Oh shit! Even when he leaves the room, because we showed him how to use the Bluetooth, that he, now he can even hear us when he left the room.
Shit!
Hey, we appreciate everybody coming out to watch and listening, and then those of you that download the podcast and listen. Because apparently there's like 2,500 of you that do that, and we didn't know that until now. So, hey, thank you for downloading the podcast and listening to us and giving Ryan his space. So go to chummyvet.com and do all that. And then remember, the Book of Earl always tells you, quit being a triggered pansy. We all get triggered. All right. Everybody here does. Joe is 100% triggered all the time. His name is Triggered Joe, right? And he gets mad at me and he writes me a 6-page long text message. Like, I fucking read it, Joe. Like, I didn't read it. Like, I skimmed it and got like
Ryan,
3 points.
I know he's going to skim over it, but the fact that I can for 1 second get him to go, Jesus Christ, oh, fuck, Joe, all right.
Yeah.
He knows I'm mad. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ.
I got my point across. He saw how many words it was. He didn't read them,
and again, I'll pat my own back. The VTT's Big Earl, right? I'm a Facebook terrorist. Okay, so when I see weakness, I pounce, right? And I want to instill terror in you that when you comment, the Big Earl is coming back, right? Like he's gonna say something, right? And then these guys, they share these articles, and I'm like, I'm not reading the article. I comment on the article like I read it, right? And it's like, and then they get even more triggered. Okay, but the point of all this, because I know somebody on Groundworks will get mad, but I'll get to the point. All right. The point of all of this, the point of what we're doing at Veteran Trash Talk, all right, what Ryan's doing with Chummy Vet, it doesn't matter. We promote anybody, anywhere, anytime, all right, that has the same goal and or supports our goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a civilian or a veteran. Okay, obviously civilians, like, we're going to charge you a little bit because we have a huge reach, right? But with veterans, go buy a Chummy Vet shirt. Just go do it. like we're gonna have Soldier Girl Coffee on. We've had, I know Kyle Early's went through some troubles and he's not really selling much anymore, but we had him on there, and Barrage Coffee, Grunt Works, all right,
Straight Shooter.
Yeah, Straight Shooter Coffee. All right, he was one of our first guests, and buy them all. Let's do it.
We support we support each other.
Right, yeah.
Shouldn't we be arguing with each other?
Right. Like instead of buying Folgers coffee, just
buy all of it.
Buy
ones. Yeah.
Buy Black Rifle.
Yeah.
All right. And it's like doesn't matter. Okay, so
Grunt Style,
support
all right, because they're not veteran owned anymore.
Grunt Style is not veteran owned, and like
Grunt
Joe
Works,
always
okay.
said, Joe would hit that punchline with Grunt Style.
Yep.
Fucking Old Navy is more veteran owned than Grunt Style.
Boom! Fact. All right, so stop buying Grunt Style.
VTT, Big Earl, I put that on the discount code. I did that this morning.
Nice.
So get a little discount.
Hey, put a big
But
on
that trash
35%
talk
off.
that you speak of, Ryan, that lingo, that stuff you miss, we know exactly what you're talking about. That is why we're called Veteran Trash Talk. Because a lot of people confuse it, say veterans with an S. No, it's its own language.
Yeah.
Like you just described it perfectly. So that's why we're not competition. It's the same fucking mission.
Yeah.
Same mission.
Co-opetition.
Dollar you can. And we'll, you know what? Congratulations.
And
really,
obviously, Buddy's got something
go get all.
because
Go
he
get
hasn't
everything.
said anything, and he's been texting for the last 3 hours.
Are you swiping again, buddy?
Yeah, you swiping.
There's something that we don't know
I thought
about.
you were in an official
not
Facebook
swiping.
relationship, buddy.
Okay.
I was actually sending my picture to Nick at
You
one
said
point
that like
because
45 minutes ago.
He needed one for the podcast.
It takes
And
him
then
some
I got
time,
a
Nick.
couple
Like-
messages. Look, guys, I've got.
Click.
Do you see this list? It's got a lot of people and things.
He's
that
excited
have to be
about that
accomplished.
list, man. He's
He is
excited about that
Look,
whiteboard.
I've been looking at
I'm
that
not gonna lie.
whiteboard. So let me plug.
You know, you got this thing called
Whoa,
notes in your phone where you can
yesterday-
type that shit in too.
Yeah, but that's not how I work. I'm analog, not digital. Yesterday, that list was one thing long, and it was make a list, and now boom.
My goal today is to make a list.
Does it have your college homework on there too? Does it have your homework on there too?
Yeah, I've got about 20 chapters I need to read today.
Yeah. Well, you should wait till tomorrow. That's what a real college student does. They drink on Saturday and then they cram on Sundays.
Yeah.
You can do it, buddy.
But before I turn it over to Dave, to close us out, just to reiterate what we do and what our mission is. Okay, join the community, be a part of it. If you want to come on the show, message us at Veteran Trash Talk. Go on Facebook and find us, and or message me at VTT's Big Earl. We'll get you on the show. We'll promote your stuff. Again, authors do really well, nonprofits do really well, and then Ryan, the last word before Dave closes this out. You also have a nonprofit under Chummy Vet. What is that again?
Well, so it's an affiliation. So basically, this is actually predates Chummy Vet, but I'm a pretty active volunteer in the San Antonio chapter of what's called Vet Strong, right? So the other element I think that's been key to helping me sort of stay productive or out in the community, if you will, is like literally like getting off the social media and that kind of stuff and getting out there. But this nonprofit, it helps over 200 families a year. And basically how it started was, collecting home furnishings. And we have some folks that, daylight with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and most of them are veterans, right? And they identify individuals out there in the community that have struggled with addiction or are coming off opioids or whatever, right? And they're coming out of a state of homelessness or transience, and they're going into an apartment, right? Stable apartment for the first time. And, we show up, again, it's all volunteers, mostly veterans, and we deliver home furnishings, donated furnishings, dressers, mattresses, brand new mattresses, right?
Nice.
And I tell you, like, it's been awesome for me because, again, it's like you're doing something physical. And what I love about it, there's a lot of charlatans out there, right? And then, believe it or not, like even in the veteran nonprofit space, right?
People
like
from Charlotte?
Well, like people, inflated salaries and all this stuff in nonprofits. What I like about it is it's run by an NCO, former NCO, who's combat engineer, and he's out there.
So
he's out there slinging. He's funny. He's slinging couches, right? Like he's lifting couches. He's moving stuff in and out. Like he's doing the work, and he's sweating, along with everyone else. So that to me was like, here we go. Yeah. You gotta sweat with some folks. You know what I mean? But so yeah, they got a chapter in Honolulu as well.
Ooh.
And recently, and this is kind of cool if you're in San Antonio or Hawaii.
Ooh, CJ. Ooh, mamma mia. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't get
Lulu.
But now they've been doing the Afghan refugee, the assimilation process, right? So like they're extending their services. They're hiring Afghans that have like literally just gotten into our community, and a lot of these guys were commandos and ANA guys and ANP, and they're bringing them in, right? They're helping employing them. Yeah, so it's good. Yeah. It's a great nonprofit, and once or twice a week I get to partake in it. So
that's
good.
Awesome.
Little plug. Vetstrong.org.
I blacked out. What happened?
He was talking about his nonprofit, Nick.
Oh, okay.
That's strong.
Yeah,
I think I asked that question, right? That
you did. You did.
Okay.
It was. Yeah.
TBI kicking your ass again, not today. Yeah.
TBI don't lie.
What happened? TBI don't lie.
Ooh, t-shirt.
Yeah.
T-shirt
Hey,
right there.
you
guys can have that one. Veteran Trash Talk, you can have that one. TBI don't lie.
I stayed on my feet, by the way.
You did.
Joe knows this. I was rocked and I did not even go down.
No, truth.
That's what paratroopers do, Nick.
Fucking go down.
We had to buckle his knees for him, and I so gently scooched him to where he was facing me, and I looked him in the face, and Nick's eyes looked like something out of a Marvel comic. They were so frosted over, like he was just glazed. Looked right at me, and I go, "Get your feet under you," and he goes, "They're there." And I go, "Can you walk to that truck?" And he's like, "Yep." And that was it. I switched places with him. I remember I go, "Cosma, I got an American pack of Marlboros if you don't hit another one of those." Because I took his place.
Oh, those are money over there, man.
Oh,
that was gold over there.
I was so scared that day. Because I was in the commander's truck, and I was like, "Shit, I'm up," because I was the only spare.
Yeah.
Awesome. Buddy Ferris was out there with us that day.
And to talk about the veteran trash talk, you know what all these assholes said to me when we got back was, "Nick, well, how come you didn't tell the trucks to stop?" I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah." Obviously, I would have.
Because I wanted to see if I could take it. What do you fucking think, idiot?
Well, thanks for coming on, Ryan. This was a blast. Seemed like I think this episode was a dumpster fire the entire time.
Actually, a beautiful one. Yeah. There was some hot.
Wait! Don't close this out. I'm gonna continue the dumpster fire because I've had 3 shots of bourbon. So
shit! Here we go.
Hey, so Ryan,
fantastic.
I need 10% truth here minimum.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
When you wrote home about what you were doing as an MI officer, right, and people were asking you how and thinking that you're so heroic, how did you disguise the fact that you were only giving the weather report? Every day during top order.
Yeah. Well, when I would get those requests, I'd be working on a PowerPoint, telling troops where to go, that type of thing. And I just,
no, you didn't
I
tell
don't know.
Troops where. Is that what you said? You said you gave troops the where to go?
I thought, how can I spin this and make this a tall tale?
You do realize as infantry guys, the only thing we listen to you for is the weather report.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. And the illumination.
Yeah, illumination. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Full moon illumination.
Sorry. Yeah.
Good shit.
Dave forgot about what that meant. So go ahead, Dave.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I enjoyed myself, Ryan. Appreciate you. Hey, anytime you come up with a new shirt, and you're about to post it, shoot us a message, add us on Facebook or whatever. We'll blast it on our page as well. And again, if you go to your site today, you type in VTT, you can get a discount, right? How long is that going to last?
Allegedly.
Through March. Springtime. Right. Yeah.
That's all we get is a month. We get a month.
2 months. 2 months.
Cool.
February.
I'll
extend it.
Your chummybest.com is going to reach about 20 million people, and we get a month.
I'll get you some.
I'm rolling in it. All right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes us some time to upload all these podcasts on YouTube later, on Spotify. So we need a little bit more than a month.
Can you make a shirt that says?
I can extend it.
Can you make a shirt for Buddy that says "I survived salsa night at Spiker"?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Don't give them all our ideas, Nick. Come on now.
Well, I have lots of ideas that you guys never make shirts. So just
Spiker karaoke star.
Yeah, Spiker.
I just gave you one. TBI don't lie. That's perfect. That would sell.
I do like that. Let me tell you.
All I do is pay for the site that they can make the stuff on, and they don't make anything on it.
So we came off patrol, got back in
You didn't go on
Spiker.
patrol.
You did patrol
We
in
went on
Spiker.
patrol.
Shit at Spiker.
Anyway,
Get out of here.
we came back and they were
Oh,
having
maybe like a
karaoke
perimeter
night.
patrol or whatever.
Karaoke
What?
night was at the same exact place that the gym was. So we went to go to the gym. They were having karaoke night on the front porch, and this freaking
Wow.
this cab dude got up there and was singing Bon Jovi's Blaze of Glory, but he was talking about like on a steel horsey road and was like,
That's literally the words of the song, buddy.
yeah. But
He wasn't
was like,
talking about it.
He was doing
he was
karaoke.
in the middle of the song.
Kind
He
of-
was like, "Like my
He was
hubby,
singing it. You're
and
supposed to sing the
you
words,
are
buddy.
bad."
Because he
It was,
does
it was
right.
super
That's
awesome.
the
And your
that's in the song.
point, buddy. And your point is
He's
My
lived in
point
Buddy's head
was,
ever since.
it was the most supposed thing I've ever seen in my fucking
This guy
life. Well,
owns
not
you.
the most
Find
supposed
this
thing.
guy. Get him on the show. He owns
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he still thinks
he is
about
living
it.
rent free in your head. To
Hey,
this day.
can you, hey Ryan, can you make a T-shirt that says Charlie Company 2505, Golden Mosque Destroyers 2000?
Hey, I was smoking a cigarette
Yeah.
when that mosque got blown up. All right,
I mean, I'm just saying.
I was outside.
Great job.
I don't know.
I was like, hey, that was a loud explosion. I walk over there,
Something just happened.
and the mosque is gone.
I think I was outside with you, Nick, when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you
We were-
could've
we were
walked
like-
in the
we were like,
goddamn
hey,
mosque,
don't.
moron.
There was
Yeah.
50
Buddy.
national police guarding it, and that one bullet was fired, and all of a sudden it was gone. It was like, oh, good job, guys.
In my defense, I did try to stop this bombing. When I saw the building going down, I reached forward and said, "Oh!" And
I tried to catch it. I tried to catch it.
I tried to
Right
prevent
before
it.
it blew up in my head, I said, "Hey guys, don't go in
I
that
said,
building.
hey.
There's gonna be an explosion." Somebody
I
just
said,
up my
hey,
instinct.
don't.
All that came out was, fuck it.
Yeah.
Go.
I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
don't." Yeah. We gave him a harsh warning for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do
Yeah.
that again, you guys.
Well, Dave, I think you closed out because we're all drunk and we don't know what
I think we
we're
tried a
talking
couple
about.
times.
Did you?
Everybody that's watching, go check out veterantrashtalk.com.
Don't yell
All
at
right.
me, Dave.
Has a links to everything.
Can't leave.
Ich werde nicht mehr schreien, Nick. Soll ich einfach alles auf Deutsch
Yeah,
sagen? Oder?
that's in my Scheiße.
If you do, you're gonna clean it up, Dave.
That's in my Scheiße. I think
you strike me to
Did
be
we
into
close
that type
up?
of shit.
actually
Did
Flughafen-
You might be into that, Nick.
Flughafen's airport, right?
Nick just told me to eat his shit.
I did eat my shit.
Banana.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I thought I said eat my banana.
So are we still on? Awesome.
Yeah, the show is still going.
That's
Check
in
out
my-
GroatWorksClothing.com.
That's in
All
my
right.
Schlange.
Buy some
In the great
awesome
word of-
merch.
In great
All right?
words of Dave, this show
Was
is
ist
tough
das?
to put.
The dumpster fire. Chris, just end this. These guys are losing their shit.
Yeah,